What's going on, everyone? Moose here, Airguns, Michigan. It's Monday night, and we are live. And tonight, we're going to talk optics. We're going to wait for a few people to join in the conversation, and then we're going to get rolling and start talking about why optics and why they're important, and the differences between what you're going to get for different prices. A lot of people out there are very budget minded, and that's okay. There are some good budget minded scopes out there, and there's some that just are not so good. And we're going to talk all about that tonight. What's going on? I see we got a few people joining. And if you guys missed the beginning, we are going to be talking optics. What's up, the bearded air gunner? What's going on? What's going on? So, yeah, I've grabbed up a few of my scopes, and we're going to talk a little bit about the differences in what you get for money, right? Because that's a big question that a lot of people ask. When it comes to scopes. And believe me, and I understand 100%. I mean, there was a time when, for me, spending $150 on a scope was a big deal. And, I wanted to find the best scope that I could possibly get for that $150. And I believe that I have. And, and then I started realizing that, man, there's other scopes out there as well that I really want to touch on and kind of, tell you guys about and share some of my experience with optics and, why I've come to terms with spending good money on an optic is a good idea. And, like I said, we're gonna talk a lot about that tonight. And what's up? And I definitely want to hear from you guys and have you guys chime in and let me know what your thoughts are. Everybody's got what they want as far as an optic. Some people don't necessarily even know what they really want when it comes to optics. And what's up, Peter? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to really kind of dive into this and really give this a thorough going over, right? And we're going to start out with some lower end scopes, and we're going to work our way up to some higher end scopes, and we're going to talk about the differences and why and how and what's the big deal. Like, what are you really getting for that extra money, right? And a lot of people are like, dude, I got this scope for $200 and it's just as good as my buddy's this. But is it? Is it really? Because I'll tell you, I've got a new opinion on that. And it comes from experience, and it comes from having a wide range of scopes, right? Scopes and red dots are like shoes. Never go cheap on them because they are highly important. I agree. But are there some cheap scopes out there that you can run that are pretty decent? Yes. But are there also cheap ones out there that you're just throwing your money away? You're literally just giving your money away. Your scope's just not going to perform. And we're going to talk all about that. So we're going to get started I'm going to show you guys one of the cheap scopes that I have. I actually won this at Christmas time from this company. And it's this Pintney, right? It's one of those all-in-one. It actually had a laser on the side as well, but it's got a red dot or a green, red and green dot up top, and it's a 4-12 by 50, and it's got a built-in Picatinny rail to it, and that's just what it is. And I'm going to tell you, Pintney, okay, gets $100 for this optic on their website. $100. Now, for the average person out there who's looking for an optic, they might come across something like this and say, you know what? Yeah, dude, I get a red dot. I get a laser. I took the laser out the side. It's actually on one of my BB guns. And, for $100, I'm getting all this cool stuff and blah, 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 blah. And let me tell you, this scope is junk. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why it's junk. One, it's a fixed objective. Okay. So that's one reason that I would not recommend like a Pitney like this. Number two, these clicks on here are very all over the place. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I dialed this scope, and every time that I would look through it. Let me see if I can get you guys a picture of the reticle. There you go. Yep, you can see it. Oh, there you go. It came and went. It really did. One day I had it on the gun. It was shooting one place. The next day I picked it up, and it was quarter MOA off or more. I think it was actually more like a half MOA off, and I had to dial it back. The Picatinny rail that comes with the bottom of this thing is absolutely atrocious. It does not like to line up with the scope grooves on my guns, my Picatinny grooves. It sits kind of offset. Once it's on the gun itself, the scope is actually canted a little bit, and there's no way to change it. You can't loosen it up. You can't do anything to turn your scope back to, completely straight. And honestly, I would never buy a scope like this. Like I said, I won it at Christmas time from Pitney. Complete garbage. Do not waste $100 or any kind of money on Pitney optics. They are terrible. I've had lots of Pitney scopes, and they are no good. CV Life, that's another one. No bueno. Do not do it. I've had lots of those when I was first getting into shooting air guns pretty heavily. I thought, you know what, 40, 50 bucks, that's a good deal. All I need to do is get a cheap scope. No. But junk. So don't go out and waste your money on Pitney or CV Life. Please don't. I would say the starting point for a relatively decent optic, UTG scopes. I've had really good luck with those as far as second focal plane. They are a lifetime warranty scope. So if you're okay with the fact if something happens to it, you have to send it back and they have to send you another one, I would recommend UTG. I've had plenty of them, and they're really not bad optics for the money. When I step up into Discovery scopes, garbage, absolute trash. I bought one and got rid of it quicker than I bought it. I couldn't stand that thing. If you guys are interested in first focal plane, Monstrum Tactical makes some really great first focal plane scopes for the money. This is their Alpha series. I have the G3 as well as the Alphas. I have a couple of these Alphas. And for a first focal plane, let's see if I can get you guys through the reticle. Oh, yeah. Come on. I'm trying and working on it. There you go. Well, come on. Anyway, decent optic, first focal plane. The Alpha series are not illuminated. The G3 is. And the dial ability on these scopes is relatively good. They will actually come back to pretty close to 0 if you do the nipple twister on them. But that's one thing about an optic is dialability, right? We want an optic that if we go from, let's say, 50 yards to 100 yards and we want to dial our scope and not use holdover, We want a scope that when we dial it back down to 50 yards, it's going to come back to that 50 yards. Monstrum Tactical does a really decent job. There's a little bit of play here and there, but overall, these are really decent optics for the price. You know, you're talking anywhere from probably $125, $130 up to about $230, depending upon which Monstrum you go with. They have great customer service. I've never once called out to Monstrum and had them not answer their phones. And I call them often. I do get kickbacks. If any of you guys are interested in picking up Monstrums, I do have an affiliate link. You can check out that affiliate link in my YouTube channel under my Monstrum review. Or actually maybe even all my reviews. I can't remember if I updated the link. But I do get a small kickback, and it definitely helps me out a little bit. But if you're looking for a budget first focal plane, there is no better budget first focal plane than the Monstrum. I have bought them all. And, you know, that's one thing that, you know, I can honestly say is I have bought oodles of cheap optics just to try out all the different stuff that's out there and just to try to be able to figure out you know, what I should recommend to people that ask me. If you're looking for a second focal plane, I recommend UTG. If you're looking for a first focal plane, I recommend Monstrum. And we're talking low-end budget, $200 at most, or pretty close, $230. And like I said, you know, I mean, I shot this for a long time. I actually had this on my Wildcat. You know, and they're decent scopes. But you know, all in all, I mean, very smooth operation. They work really, really well. So, you know, so then people ask me, they're like, well, why did you like upgrade or leave Monstrum and go to spending more and more money? Well, couple of reasons. One, I wanted better dialability, more reliability. I wanted, you know, a lifetime warranty. I wanted a different reticle. You know, I like dirty reticles for, you know, my holdovers and my windage adjustment and things like that. But more so, I wanted that repeatability in that dialability, right? I want a scope that I can dial from 25 to 250, back down to 25, back to 100, back to 50, back to that, and not have to worry about that dial eventually just taking a dump. So, you know, I started doing some more research and into, you know, different optics. I came across quite a few. Optizon, for example. I love my Optizon scope. I have it on my Texan. It's a second focal plane, but it's perfect for hunting. It's a great overall scope. I mean, Optizon makes some awesome optics. But moving up in the price range, right? So, you know, pretty much you've got that, let's say 250 or less. And then for me, the big jump goes to roughly $500 to $600 and enter in Athlon optics. So this is an Athlon 8 to 34 by 56. This scope is actually just waiting for my M3 to arrive. This will be the optic that goes on to my bench rest gun. This is an incredibly smooth, incredibly accurate, incredibly well-made, lifetime warranty. Everything on this scope just screams precision, and it is exactly that. It's got a zero stop on it, so you know I can dial up to you know any any distance I want, bring it all the way back down, and that zero is at 25 yards. So The reticle on this is, let's see if I can get this one to show up. Oh, there we go. No, come on. Dang it. This is tough. Let's see if I can illuminate it. Let's get it illuminated and it'll probably be easier to see. There we go. Oh, I lost it. Oh, almost there. There we go. So great optic, great reticle. This reticle is really precise, and I've never had any issues whatsoever with this reticle as far as dialing it to different ranges and bringing it right back to zero. It tracks extremely well. The clicks are very positive. It's very smooth, well made, and has just a ton of light and very easy eye relief. It's got a good, fair view of eye relief. What's going on, Mr. Field Target Tech? Skinny Mitch. Mike, what's going on, man? And Michigan Air Gunner, what's going on, man? So one of my favorite optics, honestly, man. This thing is just absolutely a phenomenal optic, and like I said, right in that $500 to $600 range. And you know, and having that 8 to 34, especially for bench rest, that 34 magnification really comes in handy and does a great job. Going up from there, we have more. I do have something else in that price range as well. The Element Helix first focal plane, very clear glass, very comparable to the Athlon. Great reticle. I run those in mil-radians, and you know, I don't have any issues with that glass either. And then, you know, we have the Element Titan. So you're talking $800 now for this. And, you know, this is mil-radian as well. One of my favorite optics by a long shot. It's 5 to 25 by 56. It does gather quite a bit of light. This is actually currently on my FX Impact Mark II 30 caliber. And I shoot this as bench as well. The reticle on this is very clear. And not only that, but the other thing that I really like about this reticle is it's mil-radian. And for those of you guys that are not real familiar with the difference between an MOA reticle and a mil-radian reticle, mil-radians generally have a tendency to have a dot as the center of the optic, as to where an MOA scope will generally have a crosshair right in the center of the optic itself. I do kind of prefer the dot. Getting that I'm getting a little bit older, the crosshairs are starting to pique my interest a little bit more. But you know, one thing that you're going to find with you know, getting into these higher end scopes is you're going to find, like I said, repeatability in the clicks and the dialing, as well as that lifetime warranty, right? You're going to start finding that more and more optics like my Athlon, my Elements, my Aztec, you know, you're paying for something, but they're guaranteeing that scope. So, you know, there's nothing worse than having a scope that you've paid money for, good money for, and you know, a year down the road, you know, your parallax stops working, or all of a sudden one day your windage adjustment just isn't working anymore, or something happened, the reticle fell off the track, and now it's just not moving left to right. Also, the other thing that you're going to get with these generally more expensive scopes is you're going to get etched glass reticles, not just wire crosshairs hanging in the midst. Having that etched glass definitely makes a big difference, especially when you're looking through that optic. I mean, you can really, 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 really see. Let me see here if I can show you guys what this reticle looks like. Turn on some magnification. There you go, or some illumination. There you go. Oh, yeah. And of course, it's on the brightest illumination, but you guys get the idea. That's a dirty ass reticle, but it totally comes in handy when we don't or we need to make those fine adjustments. Yeah, MOA scopes, they do have regular crosshairs. Yeah, mil radian scopes generally have the dots, which is what this is. This is mil radians. So even if you look at the top, it's one MRAD, not one MOA. So mil radian scopes generally have a dot. MOA scopes generally have crosshairs. So something to keep in mind if you guys didn't know the difference. And then like I said, having that dirty reticle, when we're all out, how Cyclops Joe feels about IR scopes. Yeah, actually, it's a common misconception. It's not that Joe has anything against illuminated reticles. It's that Joe has it against paying extra for something that should really be just kind of included. Yeah, of course they do, Tom. I wouldn't expect anything different from you. But I will say that I do not own 1 mil radian scope out of 5 that have a crosshair. Mine all have dots. Every single one of them. But Tom gets some crazy off the wall scopes and always has the complete opposite of what I have. Don't know why. He seems to find those. Yeah, I mean, is this scope really an $800 scope? I don't know, because I don't own any other $800 scopes, but I can tell you it's a great optic. And for the same, something in the same ballpark, like I said, like this Athlon scope, if I had the money and I only had the money for, let's say, a $500 optic, I'm going to go with Athlon or Aztec every day of the week. They're great optics. Lots of repeatability. I dial these scopes all the time at the range. Never had one problem with tracking. Never had one issue with it coming back to zero, or knowing that on this one, 11 on the dial puts me out to 100 yards. I'm always within a click or two, and then obviously dialing it right back to zero, I'm right back to my 25 yards shooting here at my house. So definitely, like I said, yeah, and and that's the thing too, is right. Like my guns are all, with the exception of 2, all my scopes, I shoot both target and hunting. And even when I'm out hunting, I mean, yes, I can use holdover. And a lot of times I know my holdover points on the majority of my optics. But these things are, just the clarity, the field of view is also a very important factor. And when you get into these higher end optics at, let's say, 10 power, which, has a really good, power for me when I'm out hunting, my field of view is really in a great place as well. Jer says, just got 2 Arkans and love them both. Yep, I'm hoping to get my hands on one of those myself. You know, I've seen all kinds of good stuff, and you know, I definitely want to check out an Arkin. And you know, I'm just in line like everybody else. As a matter of fact, I've been in contact with Arkin, and you know, apparently sooner or later they're going to let me test one out. You know, just to do a review on. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Plus, I think my wife might be trying to get me one for my birthday, which would be awful nice. So, but you know, like I said, I just wanted to kind of touch on optics. You know, this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, as far as, you know, really like, you know, steering people away from those really super cheap budget scopes. You know, there's two that I utilize that are in that sub 200. And for second focal plane, that's going to be UTG, especially with their lifetime warranty. I've had really superb luck with them. I've never had one that was bad, and I own like 6 of them. And then Monstrum for the first focal plane. Never had a problem with any of my Monstrums either. So, which one will be your deer scope? So right now, currently on my Texan, I have an Optizon 5.5 to 25 second focal plane, and it's the scope that I'll also be taking out to RMAC this year for doing the slug challenge. But I think when it comes to deer hunting, I'm probably going to pick up an ATN, only because I want to be able to record the hunt. And you know, where I hunt, I'm not really taking any shots that are past 100 yards. So I think that scope will do just fine for everything I need, especially for the recording and things like that. So I'll probably run an ATN, at least I think. But we'll find out once I get the ATN in my hand whether or not I think it's worth its weight. And obviously, there'll be a review on that. We'll talk about that, and you know, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, and then at least on one of my guns, I do have a 357 Impact that I'll probably. I was thinking about taking that into my deer stand, just because if I'm going to shoot a deer out of my deer stand, I've only really got like a 40-yard like max shot. It's an archery stand. So if I end up taking it out there and, you know, popping a deer in the dome, then the 357 would be just fine. So, yep. So, but you have 2 ATNs. Is that what you're talking about? But like I said, you know, any of these gimmicky scopes, you know, like these Pitneys, guys, please don't waste your money anymore. Even like with CV Life or any of those, just, you know, save up a little bit more money, buy yourself, you know, something that's halfway decent. So, and you know, go with those, because these things, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, I wouldn't even give this scope away, to be honest with you. It's just, you know, as a matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is probably strip the red dot off of it and utilize the red dot just with, who knows. So, yeah, I wish I could get a polymag to fit into my Impact. I bought 3 tins of 35 cal polymags to go with my yeah, UTG minimum, and seriously, like nothing less than UTG. Yeah, I've tried them all, man. Seriously, like, I mean, you know, I did West Hunter, I did Discovery, I did Pitney, I did CV Life, I did what's that other scope? Shit. No, I can't remember, but it's another famous or well-known Amazon one. And honestly, like I said, the tracking on them was not good. I didn't, if you can't see it, you can't hit it. That's a fact, George. And like I said, I think it's something that a lot of times people overlook or they undervalue. Um, you know, um, no, it wasn't a center point. I've actually got two center points that are on two of my Crosman brake barrels. And believe it or not, ironically enough, they actually hold zero. Like like even on those brake barrels. I mean, they're not great optics. They don't look great, but they are what they are. Had a lot and got to shoot a lot. I shot Element, Helix, Titan, and Nexus. You can buy two Titans for the price of a Nexus. I shoot out to 250 yards with impacts. Yeah, and that's one thing I never understood the Nexus. I really didn't. For the magnification and everything else, I mean, I get it. It's a lighter scope. It's basically, I mean, it is light and small and compact, but fudge that. I'd take a Titan any day of the week. So don't need the Nexus. Maybe I'll run a 6.5 or 308, but not for 250 yard shooting. I run an MTC Viper. Yeah, MTC makes great scopes. Vortec, I've never owned one, but I've heard a few things. Love my Athlon scopes. Absolutely love Athlon scopes. Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like Michigan Airgunner said, I mean, like, dude, I ran everything the cheapest I could in the beginning. Knock off bipods, knock off this, knock off that, trying to save a few bucks. And, honestly, I just I don't think it's over here. I don't know where it is, but I have an Atlas knockoff. And, I hear people all the time, oh, it's not that bad if you just, tighten it up and this and that. Thing is garbage. Like, I mean, it'll collapse on itself, doesn't stay straight, just, it moves all over the place, this and that. And I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, a great budget-friendly bipod, the UTG Recon is a really decent bipod for the money. It really is. I mean, it really is. I have a few of them. It's just, it is what it is. And if you've never used a UTG Recon scope or a bipod, you can get them for roughly $60, roughly. Sometimes you can find them as like on the Amazon warehouse for like $45, $50. High pressure pneumatic sells them. But honestly, I mean, if you're just looking to get into it and you don't want to spend $400 on an Accutech, which I don't blame you. Listen, if I wasn't sponsored by Accutech, I wouldn't be shooting many Accutechs. That's a fact, because they are very costly. But UUQ, that's another one that's actually a knockoff, but is a great bipod. But you get into these really, 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 really cheap bipods and cheap scopes and cheap accessories, and really you're just doing yourself an injustice. Having a scope that is moving around and not staying zeroed is doing you an injustice with your air gun that you spent whatever you spent on. I mean, I've got another air gun on its way that I never thought in a million years I'd spend that kind of money, but I am going to buy a limited edition Daystate Heritage. Just is what it is. It is what it is. Silly money, but gosh darn it, I'm going to own one. But even with that, like, I wouldn't want to put $150 scope on that gun. Those guns are very accurate, and and not that Monstrum doesn't hold up, they do. But I'm probably going to put either a high-end Hawk, or I'll put another Athlon on it. So I was told by a Crossman employee, don't use CP scopes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only reason they're on the 2 brake barrels that I have is because they came on those brake barrels. And like I said, ironically enough, I don't have any issues with them. So Backyard Sniper says you deserve it. I don't know about that, but someday it'll be my son's gun. If you guys haven't checked out the Red Wolf Heritage Limited Edition that Daystate just came out with, you really need to take a look because they are beautiful. You buy more air guns in 2 weeks than I have in 2 years. Yeah, but you've got a lot more money wrapped up into your air guns. On the Delta Wolf, you said. I know, right? Well, I thought about a Delta Wolf too. But actually now I'm kind of looking at the raw chassis. I was thinking about getting the raw on the chassis and calling it a good day. Yeah, Clayton, I feel you, man. I mean, I'm on the list and I know where they're coming in at, and I'm pretty much guaranteed one, and I can't wait either. They actually even come in a limited edition hard case too, which congratulations, Daystate, for finally putting your gun in a damn case. For the amount of money that you spend on a Daystate, you should get a dang case. Right, Skinny Mitch. Yep. And actually, it's ironic because on my HW, I actually put an Aztec scope on that HW 97K, but there's so little recoil in that gun that, like, honestly, you don't need a brake barrel scope for that gun, So, I can hear Buck upstairs throwing a fit. Uh-oh. I sent my wife a text, see if he's okay. But yeah, Clayton, I can't wait. And actually, ironically, I still haven't decided what caliber I want yet. I'm leaning towards 22. Somewhere between 22 and 25. I don't want it as a 30 cal. That makes it too expensive to shoot. Especially considering all my 30 cal ammo is really wrapped up in my bench rest guns, and I'm not going to shoot bench rest with that gun. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Is I want the 22 HP as well. Should get the hot chick in the Daystate ad too. Yeah, for that kind of money. Yeah, but cheaper to be a killer than the paper puncher. Right. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, and I mean, and here's the funny thing. I do plan on taking that gun out in the woods and shooting squirrels with it. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, it's a limited edition. It's got to stay in its case and never shoot it. But obviously I want to take care of it, and it is what it is. It's a gun that, like I said, you can hand down. I used to have a Red Wolf 22 HP in walnut, and that gun was a freaking laser. Yeah. And I think that's actually what I was thinking about maybe even doing with it too, is shooting like 22 out in LR with that as well. Moose, a Daystate 40th limited edition 22 is available at my airgun shop. Just saying. Yeah. So no, I'm getting mine through my normal channel, and it's kind of one of those things. Oh, my wife's replying, asking if Jackson's okay. We might have to bring Buck down here. Oh, she's still talking. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. But anywho, apparently my wife's like, your son's a hot mess right now. He stuck his finger on her hot glue gun. Yeah. That'll ruin your night. And then he was mad because my my female pug decided to cuddle up with him, and he did not want to be cuddled. So he lost his milk and cookies, and I can hear him all the way upstairs losing his milk and cookies. So, oh, the joys of a 4-year-old son. But yeah, so yeah, I'm actually really like, I put off the day state thing for a really, really long time. I had a really hard time getting over the price, and just, like the fact that, I really can't swap barrels. And, it's one reason that I'm such an FX fan is, you can change barrels all the time, and it's just kind of like crazy. Glad you're laughing. Well, I told you, honey, send him down. Um, so that 40th limited edition 22 is one of 200. Yeah, because I know the Heritage, the new one that's being released, they're only making, I think, 250 of them, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it's 250. I think. I can't remember. But yeah, it's like 200 or 250 of them. But got the soda pop challenge done. Sweet. I still haven't even shot that thing. Don't even know if I'm going to. But Clayton, yeah, 250. Yeah, so like I said, I looked at it more from being able to hand that gun down to my son, and knowing that he's going to get a gun that's just a phenomenal piece of artisanship. So, what's on the agenda for tomorrow's festivities? I don't know. Sorry, hold on one second, guys. But I don't know, Tom. Whatever. I don't know. We'll figure something out, though. I'm sure of that. But yeah, if you guys are new to watching us, Tuesday nights, me and Tom Holland, Mr. Field Target Tech there. We have our Tuesday nights, and we talk all kinds of different stuff. Just like I said, like an absolute load of just different stuff. Like, we've covered scopes in the past. We covered HFT stuff, field target stuff, slugs. I don't even know, like just all kinds of different stuff. So it's a cool hour to watch, and we get a lot of good questions in here, and I'll come up with something, and we'll go over it. But Rob Moore's in the house. What's going on, man? So yeah, actually that was I reached out to Tom at High Pressure Pneumatics and actually asked him when the Day State Heritages will arrive, and he said it's looking like next month. So I was like, all right. So it's kind of cool, Clayton. I'm glad that you joined, and because I think that's what I want to do too, is the 22 HP. Not only that, but there's so many different choices in ballistics in 22 caliber. Not only do you get more for your buck, Rob Moore says he's in the Smoky Mountains. Sweet, on vacation. But like I said, there's just so many different slug variations, and dude, you could just crazy. He's falling asleep in my arms. I'm rocking him. Keep rocking him. I'll meet you at the where at the what no time. Yeah, I just think it's time. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of research on the raws, and that'll probably be another one that you guys will be seeing in my arsenal in the future moving forward. I think at this time, honestly, after I buy the M3, I'm done buying FX airguns for a while. I've got all the FX airguns that I need. I've owned them all. at least all the current, 2019 till now models. And I've figured out which ones I like, and I've kept the ones that I want. And so everything's on the good with the FX. Now it's time to break out and start doing the rest of them. Yeah, the TM1000X is actually what I'm looking at. Or, well, no, sorry. The TM1000 is a great gun. It's more of the the field or the bench rest style. I want a bottle gun, so I'm looking at the, what is it? Is it HM1000X? I can't remember. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm just now getting into this. No, I do like the crowns. I do like the crowns. And actually, Rob Moore, who's in here, actually owns my old crown. And it's not that I don't like the crowns, because I've yeah, there you go, Clayton. Yeah, the HM1000X, and Clayton says he's got the chassis version. But did you guys catch my rock 4-shot? Yeah, I'm sure I saw it, because you always post them on Airguns of Michigan. But it's not that I don't like the crown. It's just that there's so many other guns out there that I really need to own first, before I come back to a crown. I almost picked up the GRS a couple weeks ago. I think it's a beautiful gun, but I love my impacts. I've got 2 impacts and a Maverick, and well, I've got 1 impact and a Maverick, and then but the 3 cards. Ooh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to take a look. If you put it out on Airguns Michigan, I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Correction, S'more owns the crown. There you go. S'more's in the house, and yep. So S'more owns my old crown. But I look for guns that I'm gonna continue to shoot. I mean, nothing worse than spending that kind of money on a gun, and then every time you look at your FXs, you pick up your impact. My Maverick is a compact, and that's my everyday. Got a problem with a squirrel out front, or well, not a squirrel, but a raccoon or something. That's the gun I'm going to grab and pop a raccoon with. But yeah, no, Day State is definitely going to be next month. And then we'll probably do a raw after that. So. But yeah, outside of that, so that was it. Yeah. So scopes, that was good. Hopefully somebody learned something out there today, and like I said, the biggest issue with scopes is, I think that a lot of times people, they have these really nice guns, and they go out and you spend this great money on a great gun, whether it's a break barrel or or a PCP, and then you cheap out on the scope, and you're only doing your gun an injustice. It just is. It's true. I've been there. I've done it, and you can really hurt yourself not paying for a decent optic. Doesn't mean you gotta go out and spend $800 or even $500, but definitely try to focus on the tried and trues. I mean, even some, a good Hawk scope. Hawk has some incredible glass. I have a Hawk second focal plane Sidewinder on my BSA Gold Star, and that scope is crystal clear. Great tracking, great reticle. Very well made. Just an absolute joy to use and shoot with. So, you know, if anything, if you're in between that 2 to that 5, grab a Hawk. So, you know, UTG, Monstrum, Hawk, and then start with the Aztecs and the Athlons and all the other stuff. I mean, Athlon even makes a few scopes in the $200 to $300 range that probably are not horrible purchases. Oh, my son's asleep. Sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we talked about those as well. For $400 to $500, getting into that Element Helix. My Helix is in first focal plane, so I think that's a $499 price point. But even a second focal plane Helix, the only unfortunate part and my only gripe at all about Element scopes is why they didn't make the Helix illuminated reticle. Because for that kind of money, I feel like they could have included it and it really wouldn't have broke the bank. So, it's just what it is. I was told from the day I bought my first high-end gun not to put a $400 scope on a 3,000 plus gun. Yeah. I've seen so many videos of nice guns with crap scopes. Exactly. What about the Helix? I like my Helix. Like I said, the only complaint that I have about the Helix is I think it should have had an illuminated reticle. It's my only gripe. I know how much it cost them to make a Helix. I heard through a bird that I trust very well. And they could have included illumination in that Helix and kept that same price point. It would have got it in the Tacticam. Yeah. But the Helix is a great scope, though. Great glass. The Helix, my Helix is on my Maverick Compact. And then, like I said, I run a Titan on my MK2. And I'm going to put the Athlon. At least I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the Athlon on my M3 once that arrives. Yeah, Tom. I wish I had like the balls to buy like a $3,000 scope, but I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't. I lost you, Michigan Air Gunner. It would have got in the Tacticam. I'm guessing you mean with the illuminated reticle. That would have definitely helped in the Tacticam. Honestly, I really loved my Tacticam. Then I sold it, but I'm glad that I did because I really like my side shots, and I have 2 of them. So, but Tacticam is definitely a nice bit of equipment to own if you guys are looking for, filming through your scope or whatever. Case G Blue Cruise Melty's channel, is that your channel or is that or on YouTube? Yeah, I love my side shot. Let me pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, channel on here. There's a guy, same name. Was just curious. Oh, right on. The new March. Yeah. Phones, cameras, crap. What phone are you running, Backyard Sniper? Because I run an old iPhone on my one side shot, but I actually run an app, and I'll tell you what it's called. Need the GoPro. Is the Firefly the same thing? No, Firefly is not the same thing. A Firefly is a cheap Chinese knockoff of a GoPro. Does it work? Yeah, I've seen some people with some decent footage. 68 Whiskey uses it. I chose to go with the GoPro. It just is what it is. Plus, I already had GoPros, so I have a lot of GoPros. But I use a software on my. Have a feeling you're gonna stick with that Arkin when you finally get it. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I know that my buddy Andrew Moist One, he really likes it too. But I actually have a software that I bought for the iPhone camera, and it has zoom on it. And let's see here. Why am I not? There's my focus. Come on. There's my zoom. So the zoom works really good because, I can, let me see if I can get my finger over here. I can actually zoom in and out with the camera app. And then there's focus. So I can really, really do a great job at focusing my my camera on my iPhone. So you might want to look into even having a Samsung phone like you have, trying to find a camera app that allows you to zoom on the fly, that has focus, things like that, just to try to clear that up, because you should, that A2100, I mean, I understand it's not a great camera, but having an app will make a world of difference. The app on that is only available for iPhone. So, it just is what it is. The Helix is $499 in my backyard, cheaper than a Hawk in my area. Yeah, Mike, I feel you. Tom says he just got the new A5100 phone. Amazing camera. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the camera on my Note 10 is absolutely out freaking standing. I've actually shot really good video with this phone. Yeah. Yeah. Tacticam is, man, I'll tell you what, like I said, I loved my Tacticam. The issue that I had was moving it from gun to gun. I had a couple of scopes that for some reason the Tacticam did not want to sit on the eyepiece correctly. So I would get some dark spot like over the top or sometimes on the side. And I don't know why. I just could not get it to sit flat up against that eyepiece. And then Filmic Pro. Might be. That sounds about right. But yeah, Michigan Air Gunner says, I got the A51. Heck yeah, they are. They're great phones with great cameras. But I just found that honestly, it was, having the mounts too, that I can just, a lot of my scopes have them. I just purchased them. And I know it sucks because they're like $50 a piece for the Tacticam or for the side shot mounts. But, once you have them, you have them. And, I've got 5 of them. So I keep them on the primary guns that I shoot. It's real simple just to move the the mount from gun to gun. And then if I'm shooting 2 guns, I can always use the iPhone to record as well on a different gun. So I will say that the iPhone does record a little bit nicer on the side shot, just because of the precision focus that I have with that app. You know, when you buy the GoPro and you put that Eagle Vision lens in it, it takes a lot of fine tuning, and honestly I ran out of patience, so mine's like there, but it's not as clear as what like my iPhone would do. But it is what it is. We're still living in that time where we still have to deal with, you know, one thing or another. So it is what it is. Let's see. That's about it. So don't forget, guys, tomorrow night we're going to be joined live by Mr. Tom Holland. We're going to figure out what we're going to talk about. And we're going to chit-chat about, you know, honestly, you know, something that I'd really like to talk about, Tom, and maybe you'll be down for this too, is competition shooting. And, you know, exactly what it's like, and what Wong will be on Friday. Generally, Fridays are his best day, and that's assuming that his wife doesn't have their new baby. So, you know, yep, sports match rings are absolutely perfect. It's actually what I wanted to put on to my BSA, but I couldn't find anybody that had Dovetail sports match rings in stock. And I didn't want to guess before I checked out the height of the mount that I bought. So actually I put UTGs on there, and you know, you ever tried going live while shooting with the iPhone? No, but it's a cool idea. Nope, I think it's due this Thursday, I think. But yeah, so Wong will be on Friday if they don't have a kid. But like I said, personally, and Tom just said 100%, I'm thinking that he was talking to me and not about sports match rings. But, you know, it's a really cool, you know, way to, you know, prepare us. You know, like RMAC is going to be my first major competition. I've shot, can't show guns on live. That's true. Nope, but you can look through a scope on live. And I can always do that stuff through Instagram as well. So I can always go live on Instagram, whether I'm showing guns or not. I was able to video chat with my cousin while shooting. There you go. But you know, it's just something that, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, when they think of competition, like, you know, like for RMAC, I got registered as a pro. And then when I think about pro, I think, am I really a pro? Like, I don't know that I'm a pro, but it's the excitement of doing it. It's the excitement of being there. And, you know, and $21,000. $21,000 for first place in 100-yard bench rest at RMAC this year. $10,000 for second place, and $5,000 for third place. And then it just keeps decreasing, but it's amazing money. 21 grand. What would you guys do with $21,000? What would you do? I'd definitely buy a new gun. I'd probably buy another Daystate. Yeah, there you go, Joe. You know, and this is all stuff, you know, we'll talk about this all tomorrow night with Tom Holland, and you know, we'll be able to Just Tom shot a lot of freaking competitions. Joe Nolan says, I'd buy an FX. Don't forget, Christmas time this year, I'm going to be giving away an FX. Guys, we're giving away an FX. We're going to give away a hand pump to go with it. We're going to give away probably a scope to go with it and ammo. It's going to be a complete starter PCP kit for, anybody that doesn't have it. Peter says Delta Wolf from the third place. Yeah, honestly, that might even be what I would buy as a Delta Wolf. Get Van Halen to play my birthday. That'd be pretty hard without Eddie Van Halen. But it'd be cool. Backyard Sniper says probably move back to Michigan. Joe Nolan says, and ammo. That's true. I would probably not have to worry about ammo for at least a couple of years. That is probably true. And not only that, you might not even have to buy an FX, because if you take first place in bench, I'm pretty sure people are going to be like, hey, by the way, buddy, you want to try out this new thing? You want to try out that new thing? Mike's Backyard says, buy a bipod that's not a knockoff, right? Random drawing on that FX giveaway. It will be random. Yeah. That butt puggers when there's that much on the line. I don't really care, because I'm looking at it like I'm there to win it, and if I don't, well then, whatever. I don't know. Honestly, I've heard all kinds of stuff, and especially with the wind down there, man, I've heard it equalizes everybody. Listen, every one of us can go out and shoot 100 yards, right? In no wind, all of us are pretty decent shots at 100 yards. Wind is going to be the factor. It's just figuring out and just letting it fly, man. Say a little prayer, take your best estimate, and let her fly. So Joe Nolan says, get a compressor. Yeah, I'd probably buy an Alkin compressor. That's probably true. Probably buy an extra bottle or two, too. There's all kinds of stuff. But either way, man, not expensive to enter. For RMAC, I think, I don't know. I didn't have to pay for my registration, but I think it's like $300, something like that, to register. Yeah, exactly. It's the shooting that counts, and I'm just there to have a good time, meet some good friends. So, yep. Yep, be an okay shot. GoPro Hero 7 209. There you go, Case G. So, all right, guys, listen, it's been an hour. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be with Tom Holland, and we're going to talk shooting competitions and, what you can expect, and kind of, we'll talk about that. We'll listen to some stories if anybody else has been out there, and, stuff like that. Backyard Sniper said it's like $250 plus $25 for the banquet ticket. Yeah, I think the receipt that I got was like, it said like $300. So I don't know exactly. Oh, for Sportsman, yeah. But anyway, listen, you guys, have a great night. Be good to each other. I'm Moose. This is Airguns Michigan, and as always, God bless each and every one of you, and be safe. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Take care.